Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Janine and I want to share my love for watercolor with you. Watching a trailer to the new Barbie movie inspired me to go pink. I love pink and in this video I want to share my favorite mixes with you. Let's start with the basic colors I'm using today. The base color for my watercolor mixes is Permanent Rose. It is very common and you can find it in most watercolor sets. If you ever wondered why your Permanent Rose isn't actually pink, try adding a lot of water to allow it to show its full color range. You could swap Permanent Rose for any other pink watercolor, but your results may be very different from mine. Next, I'm letting you in on my secret weapon to go pink. It is called Opera Rose. This color is very bright. I almost call it neon. I pre-wetten my paint just before I start filming, and this paint just melts really nicely. Sometimes I even underestimate how long I need to swirl my brush around in the palette to dissolve even the last of those tiny crumbs of paint. Adding Opera Rose can make any watercolor in the red color range really pop. I call it my secret weapon because it really intensifies any pink watercolor and it makes it glow. Let me swap some cadmium yellow. I use cadmium yellow and not lemon yellow because it feels so much warmer. As you will see later, it is perfect for mixing peach. I adore this mixture because it's simply exceptionally beautiful. When you do not fully mix the color in your brush before adding it to the paper, it gives you the most beautiful soft color gradient that varies from pink to peach to yellow in some areas. It's just gorgeous. The fourth color I'm going to use to mix shades of pink is called Cadmium Orange. I love this color because of how many shades of orange and later pink you can mix only by adding water. Orange is closer to red and pink on the color wheel, so you need to add less. Using both cadmium yellow and cadmium orange to mix pink is a great idea because of how many different shades you can create. When placing them side by side in a painting, you can really see the difference and expand your color range. For the next part, I'm going to mix on a porcelain plate. The colors I'm creating are easier to see on a white dish than they are on the palette. On the palette, the watercolor tends to cluster together and form pearls. There are ways to avoid that, and many people listed many great fixes for this on the internet. But using porcelain is just the easiest way for me. Normally it doesn't bother me, but the colors would be harder to see for you guys in this video. Let's get mixing. First off, I'm adding the base color, Permanent Rose, to the top of the paper to make it easier to compare the colors to the ones I'm going to create. The secret to turning Permanent Rose into pink is to add a lot of water. Beginners usually underestimate how much water is needed. A lot of watercolor sets contain white watercolor, so let's test it. Many artists disagree with using white watercolor, as you can just add more water to dilute the paint and lighten it that way. White is not used to lighten a color like you would, for example, when you use acrylic paint. I personally use white watercolor as an actual color. It can change the color to be pastel. I love the effect and I use it a lot, especially in nursery paintings. Now let me show you what adding Opera Rose to Permanent Rose does. The difference that it makes is so easy to see when you compare it to the original swap of Permanent Rose on the top. One of the best things about watercolor is that you can reactivate the dried paint on your palette. I'm with you when it comes to cleaning palettes. I hate seeing people waste expensive watercolor, but to be honest, the paint on the porcelain tray is worth probably less than 1 cent, so why would I let it block the whole tray from being used for weeks until it gets too dusty and I wash it off anyways. Now I'm going to mix cadmium yellow with Permanent Rose. To get the color right, I keep adding yellow or Permanent Rose and test it. The color is easier to see on porcelain, but to see the final color you need to test it on some paper. The color also changes according to how much water you add. And don't underestimate the effect of the pigment that is in your brush. If parts of your brush have more pink or yellow in it, the paint will not mix when you apply it to the paper, creating a really cool color gradient. I love to use that effect on floral paintings. Especially when you first start to test colors, it can be far off. I do not dilute it fully yet because I still might have a long way to go until the color is right. Adding more color to a small amount of the color on your palette is just easier. But once I'm getting close to pink, I add more water and then spread the watercolor out on the palette. I will add some more pink to one corner and some more yellow to another. Spreading it out makes it easier and you do not have to add more watercolor to all of the mix you just created. It also saves paint when you do not need a larger amount of watercolor that you prepare in advance. Adding Opera Rose to the Permanent Rose and Cadmium Yellow mix will give me instant results. Some can be more on the red side and some will be on the most beautiful pink side of life. I'm adding the Opera Rose only to one side of the watercolor mix on my dish to have better control over the mixture. It saves paint if you don't instantly change the whole batch. I can pull in some more of the original mix or add more Opera Rose to one area to see what color it gives me. Now let's add Cadmium Orange to Permanent Rose. This will give me similar results to the Cadmium Yellow, but a lot warmer. Orange is closer to pink on the color wheel than yellow. Because of the many red pigments in the orange, you will not need as much of the paint. But just like before, I play around with the mix and always add water to see the diluted version of the color as well. If you look close, I paint a little area and then just about touch the water jar with my brush to add another stroke to the paper of more diluted paint. Now let's add Opera Rose. You can get an instant effect when you add a very small amount. The mix just glows. Overall, I just love these results and I think they are more on the red side, but it is still a very vibrant pink. Orange is closer to pink than yellow, so you need less of it while mixing. As you are able to see now, adding Cadmium Yellow and Cadmium Orange gives you beautiful shades of pink. Each of the colors is very unique, but overall the results you get are very similar, regardless if you use Cadmium Yellow or Cadmium Orange. Which of the pink mixes is your favorite? Have you ever tried using Opera Pink to enhance the glow of your watercolors? Please let me know in the comments down below. I hope you liked this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon with the next video. Thanks for watching!